we've had a couple of, let's say, interviews being posted. The one that was on Take Take Take, Magnus's new app with Ding and his team. I thought that put him in a good, positive light, and he showed his usual human side, but also he showed that he's taking this very seriously, and his team seems to be very much behind him, and they seem to believe that he can do it, which obviously has been the big topic of discussion. Is this a one-sided match? Is it not? Based on recent results, obviously you could make the case that it's a one-sided match, but a match is a match, and Ding has shown that he can play very, very well when he needs to. He's done that against Jan. So,
I mean, I would argue that he did not play very well against Jan.
sure,
I would argue that they both played poorly.
sure,
I that's
yes,
been my position for the last year. Like during the match, that was my feeling. It was a poorly played match. The um the circumstances do kind of explain that a bit. The pressure goes up, the quality goes down, normal. But still, uh the general feeling I think is that regardless of this pressure and the situation and everything at stake, it still wasn't. They weren't at their best. And now, if we talk about Ding over the last few years, this is just my objective feeling about him. I guess it's not objective if it's just my feeling, but like I'm not trying to be biased. I just look at his results and what have I seen in the last few years. So if we go back to 2019, which was a long time ago, he was legitimately, yeah, top three in the world for sure. And in 2019, he did win the Grand Chess Tour, and that was one of the most impressive results of 2019,
yes.
along with maybe Magnus and Zagreb. Okay,
No, that was
he was
definitely
super
it.
strong.
That was definitely it.
He was one of those players where you just see that he has the stability, he has the general strength to play more close to perfect chess if he's at his best.
And the confidence.
Um,
I think the confidence was a big
yeah,
one.
yeah, he was definitely confident at that time. He's not like he's a kind of quiet person, so it doesn't stand out so much. But everyone understood how strong he was. Like it was very clear. So 2019, definitely a top three player in the world if we're going by those results. Now, a lot happened in 2020 in the world in general. One of the things which happened for chess specifically was, of course, that the candidates was completely messed up. First, by the fact that the um, general kind of arrangement in the tournament was not good. I mean, the conditions for playing chess at the time were not good, and also because the tournament was cut in two. So, for example, Ding had to go through a long quarantine to play. He quarantined for like 2 weeks in Moscow before going to Yekaterinburg.
Yeah.
And then he had a poor result. He finished on a minus score, and he had no hopes of winning that candidates. And then it was not terminated, it was postponed midway after 7 rounds. And then he came back a year later, basically playing no chess in 2020. Besides that, like almost nothing, some online events, but no over the board chess. He came back in 21 and he had a great second half of the candidates, but it was only enough to score 50%, I think. I think he scored +3. He was -3 after the first
Yes.
half.
Yes. 50%.
So, but yeah, 2021 first half, all good. Although again, if you have to travel to a candidate that you have no chance to win from the very beginning, it just feels terrible. So okay, we don't have many games in that time period, and in general, it's not good if someone isn't playing games because you need to practice.
Yeah.
Um, then 2022, because he basically played nothing for the rest of 21, as far as I know. But basically, Ding has not qualified for the next candidates. He has nothing to do. He can't play, or he's not willing to travel to play, which is also understandable. But then Karyakin is kicked out of the candidates because of the things he said online and the things he supported, and Ding gets a once in a lifetime opportunity to qualify for the candidates basically just by playing some games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then he has a pretty middling candidates if you think about it. Like he from the first
He
round, he
finished on plus
basically
one,
had
didn't
no.
he?
He finished on +2,
Plus two. Okay. Yeah.
which is a fine result. But like the thing is, he lost the first round against Jan, and then he drew a bunch of games, and meanwhile Jan was racking up wins. And after like 6 rounds, there was zero chance, pretty much, for Ding to get first place, which is usually what you need to win the candidates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just the circumstances were that he qualified by beating Hikaru in the last round because second place was enough, which people had probably had some idea, but of course we couldn't 100% know that. And then he did beat Hikaru when he needed to, you
In the
could say,
last round.
because
Mm-hmm.
at least like they both had a feeling that there's at least like some chance that second place qualifies, and they were the only people who could get it. So basically, Hikaru draws, he gets second. Ding wins, he gets second. And it turned out that second place did matter quite a lot. And then he qualified for the World Championship match. Now, still, how many games has he played in the last? From 2020, he played
Not
7
many.
games.
Not
2021,
many.
he played 7 games. 22, I don't count the qualification for the candidates games he played because they were like kind of strange
He's been out.
tournaments, nothing at stake.
He's been completely out.
So
Yes.
he played nothing, right? And then he played Vaikan Zay in 2023. He scored like -3. He won the match against Jan by scoring 50% and winning the rapid tiebreak in a impressive fashion, I must say. It was a good rapid tiebreak. Then he scores -2 in the Bucharest Grand Chess Tour event. Then he doesn't play. Then he goes to Wiesenhaus in this year, 2024.
Yeah.
And he has a horrific result. He played Vaikenze. He scored like -2 again. -2, I think -3 and 20. So it's like all minus scores. Then he played Grenke. He like lost nearly all his games. Wiesenhaus, he lost nearly all his games. Like basically he could not play chess.
Right.
I mean, he was playing at like a legitimate, I'm not exaggerating, like probably 2500 level. In a lot of events like Grenke and Wiesenhaus, for example. And a lot of events were just like minus scores, like -2, -3, -2, -3. And then he played Norway and he literally blundered mate in 1. I mean, or mate in 2, whatever it was. And he scored again -3, I think. But he started to feel a bit better at the end of Norway. Like, okay, he's fighting now. He's putting some pressure on his opponents. And then, like, if we had stopped here, I would basically say, I mean, for whatever reason, even though he's a great player, something is causing him to basically play at a, let's say, 2600 level. And that's not exaggeration. That's the performance rating that you'll find in most of the events that he played.
Right. I mean, he did go from
Like
2800 to 2730 or whatever he is right now.
Yeah, 28 or something like that.
Yeah, that's a big drop.
Then there were some like bright moments after that. I think Norway chess was like, that was the lowest point. At that point, it felt like he couldn't play anymore. Then the second half of Norway chess, he drew Hikaru with black. He drew me from a position of strength. He drew Prague from a position of strength. It wasn't ideal that he was missing chances, but still, he's getting chances and he's not losing games. That's already a step up.
Yeah.
Then he played Sinkfield Cup, which for most of it I really felt like was a step up again, because he drew all his games, but he didn't lose any.
I would slightly disagree with you on that one. Watching it fairly closely, I felt like he was a player that did not necessarily want to be there, first of all, and I think this is already a pretty negative sign. But also his assessment of the positions was shocking to me for the most part. The couple of times that I had him in the studio doing interviews, it felt like he just was not confident enough to be able to assess the positions, which is a skill that you need to have. You literally cannot play chess at the top level without having a good assessment tool by your side. And he doesn't have that. He just simply doesn't have that. And this was reinforced to me during the Olympiad. At least that's how I felt.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he managed to correct that, to work on that, if he's done any sort of specific preparation to try to be able to, any training games to be able to be at his top level in those last couple of hours, which I think is going to be crucial, given the general trend that Gukesh has been showing, and he loves to put pressure late in the game. He loves the grind. At least that's how I feel about it. So if he doesn't manage to match that intensity that Gukesh is certainly going to bring to the table, I think he's in for a very rough time.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, it's mostly negative. I mean, I think you're basically correct. Like, everything we say is negative. I think, like, Sinquefield Cup, I only said it seemed like a step up because he was drawing games, not losing them. Of course, he was spoiling chances. That's not a good thing. I mean, you need to win a match. You probably need to win games. You can, I guess, theoretically draw your games and win a match. Actually, it has been done before, as you know. But
yes.
But more likely than not, you, especially in a very long match, and they're playing 14 games, right? That you're probably gonna have to win at least one game. Yes. And so it's mostly negative. But still, Sinquefield Cup, I was feeling like basically in Norway chess, it was so bad that I was trying to win with the black pieces against him, which is kind of obscene. Like, to try to win with the black pieces, taking extraordinary risks in the classical game against a 2780 player, a world champion, is, I wouldn't think about it unless the tournament situation dictated. But I basically thought, he wants to draw so badly, I need to, like, put pressure with the black pieces. That's why I played like the King's Indian with Bishop f5.
Yep. I remember that game.
Then in the Sinquefield Cup, I changed my feeling. Maybe it was a personal thing, but I looked at Ding. He looked more steady, and I decided just to play like normal openings and not try to go crazy. Still, I got a worse position. And then the Olympiad really, I felt like, was a kind of downturn. I mean, losing better position against Likwang, Liam, then, like, it's a better position than it's a basically drawn end game, and then you just lose it, was pretty bad. And then the fact that he got absolutely winning position for the opening against Noterbeck, just completely winning, and then can't win, like, just -5 basically, and you just spoil it in one move. And then also against Parham, like, just winning king and pawn endgame at some point. I mean, it was with bishops, but it, like, you can trade bishops and then you just win a king and pawn game.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, if you can't win these positions, basically free points, just gifts that he was given from Noterbeck, who was obviously felt like Ding is such a target that he lost all objectivity. If you can't win that, it's not a good sign. So at the moment, that's like really negative.